You know, when you're facing a challenge that feels absolutely unimaginable, building a support system, it isn't just helpful, it becomes your lifeline. So today, we're going to dive into how the simple, powerful act of saying thank you can totally transform fundraising into a real community of care, especially in the relentless fight against ALS. But first, let's just look at what these families are truly up against.
Let's start with a number that it stops you in your tracks. $200,000. That's the average annual out-of-pocket cost for someone living with ALS. It's a staggering figure that immediately shows you the immense financial mountain these families have to climb every single year.
But here's the thing. This isn't just a story about money. Not at all. It's a story about strength, and it's captured perfectly in this community's rallying cry. Together we're bigger than ALS. That one phrase, it shifts everything. The focus moves from a financial transaction to a collective mission, and that is the heart of everything we're about to talk about.
So, to really understand why this community is so vital, we first need to wrap our heads around the full scope of what's at stake here, both financially and emotionally. This is the why behind the desperate need for a deeply connected support system.
Now, at first glance, you might see that 85% insurance coverage and think, okay, that seems pretty good. But the real story, the one that matters, is hiding in that remaining 15%. Over a lifetime, that little slice can add up to over $1 million out of pocket. That is the gap where families are left scrambling, and it's exactly where a community can step in and make all the difference.
So how on earth do you combat such an overwhelming challenge? Well, you do it with a completely different approach. This is not about traditional fundraising. It's about a huge philosophical shift, and it all centers on a simple but profound idea: the friend of the family test.
So what does it even mean to be a friend of the family? It means you treat every single supporter not as a name in a database, but as a true ally. They become partners in the journey, sharing in the fight, and celebrating the resilience. It's about building an emotional and financial support network, all at the same time.
And this brings us to the simple, brilliant test that ties it all together. Before you send any email, any card, any update, you just ask yourself this one question: would I send this to a friend? If the answer is no, it's not personal enough. This single question is the golden thread that ensures every single interaction is genuine.
And listen, this isn't just some feel-good idea. It has a massive, measurable impact. A personalized thank you increases the chance a donor will give again by a whopping 41%. That's huge. That is the difference between a one-time gift and a lifelong advocate who's with you for the long haul.
Okay, so we know the why and we get the philosophy. Now let's talk about the how. Let's explore some incredibly practical, high-impact ways to show this kind of genuine gratitude, all while making sure we pass that all-important friend test.
First up, the 48-hour rule. You gotta remember, speed and sincerity are a powerful combination. Sending a personalized thank you note within 2 days of a donation, it just makes a world of difference. And with fantastic accessibility tools like voice-to-text, it's actually a manageable task for patients and caregivers. It reinforces that immediate sense of connection when it matters most.
You know, holiday cards are classic, but we can make them so much more powerful. Forget the generic box of cards. Think about custom photo cards that actually show your family. Send them in the fall to catch that spirit of giving. And most importantly, include a short, tangible update. Something like, your support helped us get a wheelchair ramp this year. It completely transforms a holiday greeting into a story of their impact.
Let's be real, the physical act of writing can be a huge challenge. So why not turn it into a community event? A handwriting party brings friends and neighbors together to help. It's efficient, it ensures every card has that personal handwritten touch, and it actually strengthens the very community you're trying to build. You're turning a chore into a powerful act of connection.
All right, now let's look at how we can use both modern technology and the simple power of gathering to really deepen these bonds. It's all about scaling our appreciation without ever losing that crucial personal touch.
What's so cool here is how technology can actually enhance personalization instead of replacing it. Tools like Handwritten can automate a note that looks handwritten. Smilebox can create a beautiful photo slideshow. And ThankView, wow, it lets you send a truly personal video message. These are just fantastic ways to overcome physical limitations while still delivering a heartfelt, customized thank you.
Of course, bringing people together is absolutely key. Virtual meetups on Zoom are incredibly accessible, right? They let you share updates and answer questions directly. But then you have in-person gatherings, which, if possible, can create these incredibly deep and intimate bonds. Either way, you're making your supporters feel less like donors and more like they're in the inner circle, part of the family. You know, sometimes it's the creative, completely unexpected gestures that make the biggest impact. Think about it, a digital wall of heroes on your website, a quick 30-second video on your phone showing off the new ramp they funded, or even something as simple as sharing a beloved family recipe. These small, delightful moments, they create powerful, lasting memories.
So let's bring this all together. What's the ultimate takeaway from this whole approach? It's that gratitude is about so much more than just raising money. It's a core strategy for building resilience.
Ultimately, what this all shows is that gratitude isn't just about good manners. It's a deliberate strategy. It's how you build a resilient, sustainable support system that fuels the fight, not just financially, but emotionally, day in and day out. It is the engine of the entire support network.
And this approach, this community building, is what gives real power to this incredible statement of resilience. ALS is tough, but I am tougher. That I in the quote, it isn't just the individual. It's the individual being held up by a loving, engaged, and appreciated community. That's where the true toughness comes from.
Which leaves us with a final question to really think about. And this applies to ALS or any challenge we face in our lives. What does it truly mean to move beyond simple transactions and build a genuine community of care?